Thoughts of suicide may feel impossible to overcome, but with help and support, you can find hope and meaning. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK to speak to a counselor, or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. It's free, it's confidential, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And even if it feels like it, you're not alone.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new Signature Wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mixed with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
There's a place
out where the fake news is muffled,
past the point where politicians get silent,
where facts don't care about your feelings, where PC is DOA. This is that place. Welcome to the last stop on the right.
As Utant, it's getting worse every week, noted to Alexander Pushkin.
Wow.
When the Donner Party crossed the Kalahari.
The Kalahari.
The last pot is the best pot, yo.
Oh.
No wonder they ended up eating themselves. The hell were they doing over there?
The Kalahari.
Walking around. Man, I thought we were going to Oregon. Where the hell is that?
Took a wrong turn in Albuquerque.
Ended up in Namibia. How the hell did that happen? Welcome, my friends. This is the last pod on the right from laststopontheright.com and America's Podcast Network, KLRNRadio.com. Good to have you along with us as we enjoy yet another hour of podcast fabulosity. And oh baby, we are loaded down with it today. We even get to talk about naked women briefly.
Oh yeah,
but not the good kind. Not the good kind. I am Ben Crystal.
I am Mike Abel.
We're a minute in. I'm like, hey, you know what? We should tell them our names here on the last pod.
They don't care.
They don't. As long as they know, like, which one of these dumpster fires are we listening to? Oh, it's the last pod.
Those guys.
Oh, those guys. And that's just the people at KLRN Radio.
Yes.
Got some notes about them coming up. But before we get to this is like the national anthem before a Cubs game, isn't it? It was just like chaos will ensue momentarily. But before we get to it, Mikey.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, my friend. Let's go ahead and let's just check in and take a look and see what is in the dumpster.
On today's last pod, we've got dumbest coup ever.
Man, you ain't lying.
The Democrats' whistle gets blown.
Eric Cheravella or whatever. Cheravella, my. Yes, you should say goodbye.
Oh,
thank you.
You're welcome. Scalping health care. See, get this? Yeah, exactly. Elizabeth Warren. Medicare for All scam will cost all the monies.
All that wampum.
All of it. Every bit of it.
What is that in colorful beads? I'm curious.
Yes, trinkets. Don't kiss me, Katie.
No.
Don't go away mad, Katie Hill. Just go away.
Oh, for God's sake. Just leave. Leave. You gross person. Ew.
And we've got California stands burning.
Yeah.
Al-Baghdadi expires and impeachment tires.
Yeah, bye-bye.
And Mo.
For free.
Mo for
Here
free.
at the last pod on the right, yo.
Yep. That is it.
just like Utan told Alexander Pushkin.
Yes.
It's the best pod, yo.
Yo.
All right, so.
But before we do that.
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you forgetting where you were.
And
you totally lost your place there. I
did. And you know what? I'm totally going to butcher his whole name, but
doesn't matter.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi met his maker last weekend.
Yeah, boy.
And here at the last stop on the right, we got a hold of the transcripts.
The what?
The transcripts.
Yeah, easy for you to
of his
say.
final moments before the good guys showed up.
Yeah, we did we?
We did.
Oh, we're good like that.
Yep,
we got the transcripts.
We got the goods.
It
is this week's Great 8.
Oh, my.
The Great 8 things Al-Baghdadi said before he died.
That's cute how you're like, oh, I might be butchering his name. I'm like, well, you ain't the only thing that butchered some of his this last couple. Yeah, nobody cares. All right, so the Great 8 things Abu Bakr or Bakar, or who gives a damn.
Al-Baghdadi.
Al-Baghdadi.
I got that part. That's no problem.
Said before he died.
All right.
Yeah, I'll bet this was exciting. All right. Number eight. Have you guys ever seen my famous pig impression? I mean, my favorite bitch impression, whichever.
Whatever.
Ran and cried to his mama.
Yes, he did.
Tough guy, huh? No, that's not right. Number 7, the Great 8 things that Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi said before he died. Number 7, hey, when did we get a dog? Hey, Akbar, is that your dog? No, he's not my dog. Uh-oh. He's not my dog. He's not your dog. Run. Run away. Number 6, can I get mine without bacon?
Oh.
Ooh. See, that's me being Islamically correct.
Yes, there you go.
Because they can't eat the bacon.
They can't eat the bacon. It's okay. We will.
Mo for me. That's fine.
Exactly.
Number 5 in the Great 8 things, Abu Bakr al-Dedi, who cares, said before he began to rot and stink. Where were we? Number 5. Man, I haven't seen the cat in a minute. Cat's out, because that's what cats are like.
Yes.
They're like, yeah, your ass is on your own, buddy. I'm gone. There's a bunch of serious looking dudes outside.
I'm gone.
This ain't worth my paycheck. Bye-bye. Number 4. Hey, did we send the Obamas an anniversary gift? Because I love those guys. Yeah. Happy anniversary, Barry. I'm not saying that the Obamas are on ISIS's side. I'm not saying the Democrats are, but I totally am.
Okay. Yeah.
Number 3, tell Ilhan I'll call her back. Oh, needy. Blowing up his phone.
That didn't happen. They're not related. Sorry.
He didn't meet her number 1 qualification for a man. He's not a blood relative.
Exactly.
Number 2, the great 8 things that Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi said right before he died. Hey, anyone want to go to the movies? I hear that new one, Zero Bark 30, is pretty cool.
Zero Bark 30.
Ha, bloody ha. That's a rim shot right there. And the number one thing. Because we got them transcripts here at the last pod on the right.
Yo.
The number one thing that Abu L. whoever said before he died, number 1, Jeffrey Epstein didn't commit suicide. And you should have probably thought about this before you listen to this podcast.
He did not commit suicide.
No. The great 8 things. Yeah, the great 8 things that Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi said before he died. There they were. That's some good quality material right there. You know, you pay exactly as much as you should for this podcast, my friend.
That's exactly right.
It's quality stuff, yeah.
There's dogs I hear barking.
Hey, man, I mean, I've been hitting this weed pretty hard, but do you guys hear dogs? Literally died like Mom, if you're listening, I know Mom's listening, I'm sorry, but died like a bitch.
Yeah, he did.
Died like a bitch. Running, screaming, and dragged his kids with him. Not cool.
And blew him up. And then we proceeded to absolutely blow that place up.
Oh, did you see the video? They released the footage from overhead,
right?
And I'm presuming it was taken by a drone,
right?
But it doesn't really matter. And I don't know if they sent a C-130 or an AC-130 over the top of them or something, but whatever aircraft they finished off mama. I mean, it's all gone. They're like,
it was.
He did, and now all your fools are dead.
Yo.
Did you see it? They even had the video of the guys that were going to try and come to his rescue getting got on the way.
Oh, yeah.
Infrared, thank God, because you don't want to see that in color.
Nah, well, I don't. No, you're probably
because it was our guys overhead again, and I don't know what it was, a gunship of one sort or another. Right. It was not a. You could tell it wasn't a Thunderbolt. It wasn't an A-10.
A-10, yeah.
Because those come through and it's over so fast.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was slow.
This is somebody who, I believe they call that loiter on station.
Yes. My guess is a C-130 with one of those very large cannon things.
Yeah, the AC-130s have usually they have 3 different calibers, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Right.
They have a over 100 millimeter mortar, which is, again, it's what you think it is. It's a cannon.
Right.
I mean, boom. And then they'll have a 40 millimeter grenade launcher. And you don't want to be around one of those things. You don't want to be on the business end of that thing. I have heard that weapon, and we install versions of it on things like Humvees, and it'll be secondary weapons on LAVs and stuff like that. And when it comes to actually being on the field, with the exception of the badass aircraft that we go over the head with.
Right.
I mean, if somebody's dropping a Moab on you, then, okay, that's a big day.
Yes.
But I have heard the M240 described as the most intimidating weapon on the battlefield. Because you're firing hand grenades, basically.
True.
Like machine gun bullets.
Right.
So you can imagine being on the business end of that thing. And then they'll have a minigun or a 50 cal in there as well. If there's an AC-130 overhead and you in the business district, bye.
Business is bad.
Yeah, business is good for them. But it's a serious, and I don't know if that's the platform they use, because it's not the only thing that we can do that with.
Right.
We have helicopters that can accomplish virtually the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
At least when you're watching the video. It's amazing to me, the hell and discontent that we can put down on somebody from up above is not unimpressive.
I believe it's called shock and awe.
Yeah, it's damn. I mean, you watch those FLIR videos, because it's infrared. And again, I think that was probably taken from a circling drone overhead. And you're just like, damn. I mean, damn. But he gave us a good look at some of the people in our own country, though, didn't he? I mean, the Washington Post the next morning, so they whack al-Baghdadi, and the Washington Post runs an obit for this fool, calling him an austere religious scholar. Austere religious scholar Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, dead at 46. I'm like, did you really That you're going to go in that direction, guys? It's all because they hate Trump. It's because Orange Mad Bad, trademark 2016 Democrat Party. That anything. So we actually watched the Democrat media complex try to give us the ISIS perspective on things over the weekend because they hate Trump so much they didn't want to give him credit for whacking one of the worst people on earth.
Right.
So they're out there, austere religious scholar, dead. I'm like, what?
Wasn't
really? That's the way you're going with that?
Wasn't there obituary for Jeffrey Dahmer? Didn't it say connoisseur of fine meats? I mean, you know.
Skin care and cosmetics pioneer Elizabeth Bathory, dead at 54.
Exactly.
Beloved children's entertainer and Democrat Party activist John Gacy passed at 52 today. Oh, the tragedy. They got him. They hate him so much that they actually managed to revere an ISIS guy and come out against dogs the same weekend. I'm like,
oh yeah,
I knew all you fools were cat people. I knew it. And that's why I don't like cat people. No, it's not why I don't like cat people. I don't like cats. So that's why.
Cats are assholes.
But they, sorry, Mom. Again, you got to warn Mom when you do that.
Oh, you're right. And you know what? You've never seen a soldier take a cat into battle.
That's a damn truth. And you know what? You know how I know dogs are better than cats? You ain't never seen a seeing eye cat.
Nope.
Because if the cat was mad at you, the cat would drag you into traffic.
Yep.
Cat'd be like, watch this.
Watch this.
But this dude, so we shoot this guy in the face, right? Or no, he blows himself up.
Right.
And the next thing you know, the Democrats and the Democrat media complex is out there telling us why. You actually had James Clapper, who's part of the Coup. You know, he's the ex-DNI.
Yes.
And he's one of the Coup guys. He is actually part of the group of liberals, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, enemies of the state, who are trying, and this coup's getting stupid, we're going to talk about that in a minute, to upend the presidency. Mm-hmm. And he's out there, he's like, this is going to galvanize ISIS. I'm like, you think whacking this dude is going to can you imagine if they'd done that when Obama, and I'm going to give Obama credit, when Obama gave the go on taking out bin Laden. You imagine if Republicans had come out and said, oh, this is just going to galvanize Al-Qaeda. Man, if you are honestly sitting there worried about the attitude of a terrorist group resulting from the execution of one of their leaders, and again, dude died like a, sorry, Mom, bitch.
Right.
Crying for his mama. Okay? If you're worried about how his followers are going to react, you're doing it all wrong, baby.
Right.
You doing it all wrong. Like, you sit there. I mean, I don't care. By the way, his number 2 guy, they got him the same weekend. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, can you imagine? Job security and ISIS just ain't that great.
Well, it's like,
hey, congratulations, you're the new ISIS leader. Also, bad news, you're the new ISIS leader.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's like, oh crap, here they come they've elected me. Oh.
Hey, congratulations, Akbar, you're the new Akbar. And by the way, there's some dudes out there from Delta that said they'd like to have a chat.
Yeah.
Good knowing you. Like, does this tell you? But they wrote this guy an obituary, treating him like, and I actually quote, that's a quote from the obit.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
Austere religious scholar. And I'm like, that is literally, and I made the joke a minute ago, like saying John Wayne Gacy was beloved children's entertainer. I'm like, you guys are way off. You guys are so far off the reservation, even Elizabeth Warren is like, whoa.
Y'all come back.
Where are we at these days? But they came out and they spent the weekend, in addition to lionizing this dude, they're out there worrying about, we can't give Trump credit for this. This is bad. Killing Al-Baghdadi was bad. You had Clapper doing it. You had that, what's her name? I can't remember her name. She was Obama's ambassador to Qatar, Qatar, whatever her name is. And she's like, well, at least we gave bin Laden an honorable burial. I'm like, does that make a difference? Is that what really, do we think that's how that works with these guys? We shot bin Laden in the face while he was hiding behind his wife because, of course.
That's what they do.
Because that's what they do. Took a couple of photographs, did like an Allahu Akbar over his head, and then threw him over the railing of the USS Carl Vinson.
Yep.
That's what happened to bin Laden.
Right.
All right, so they're out there and they're like, I mean, do we really think that that's like ISIS goes, we were going to be mad, but since you gave him an Allahu Akbar, we're good.
Since you fed him to the fish.
Yeah, I'm like,
no
we shot him in the face, threw his rotting carcass over the side railing of an aircraft carrier in the Indian Ocean. And they're out there going like, death to the infidel. Oh, you said Allahu Akbar before you fed him to the fish? Oh, in that case, we good.
Cool, we're good. Well, and I mean, what do they want us to do with Al-Baghdadi anyway? I mean,
well, there ain't much left.
That's exactly right. It was like, okay, well, sweep him up into a little pile and.
Hey man, we don't want to galvanize. James Clapper and the Coup people in the Democrat Party are worried that we're gonna galvanize ISIS. So get a mop and a bucket. Yes. Give me an Allahu Akbar and then feed him to the sharks. That way we'll all be good. Now ISIS won't be mad at us anymore.
Grab that squeegee to get those brain bits off the wall.
We joke, and we're going to continue to joke, because screw that guy.
Right.
I hate that he took his kids with it. I hate that all joking aside, I hate that they place just like no premium on life at all.
Nope.
Dude took his 3 kids with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, see, this is why and we're never going to solve it, because you can't talk to people that are going to actually follow a guy. Like the dude that puts on the suicide vest is already a little bent north of the neck. But when you're looking at kids, I mean, a normal human looks at children and says, I hope nothing bad happens to them because they're kids. I mean, that's normal. Right. But then these guys are out there and they see a target-rich environment. I mean, if you can look at a playground, you got kids. So you have kids, though. So you look at a playground full of kids, and your thought is like, oh, look, it's kids. That's adorable, whatever. And like if there was some creep skulking around the edge of the playground, you'd go over and straighten him out.
Right.
These guys, they look at that and they're thinking, hey, man, if only I had, a couple of pounds of C4 and some ball bearings. I mean, that is not – everything's ball bearings these days. That is not – you can't rationalize with people. You can't have a logic. There's nothing you can do with guys like this.
No.
I mean
just
like the dude that blew himself up at the Ariana Grande concert.
Right.
What are you going to do with a guy like that? You're worried about galvanizing him? Like he's going to get worse?
And I can't even imagine, like, if I'm putting on a vest to blow myself up, I'm getting as far away from my kids as I can, because I
would hope so. But if you're putting a vest on to blow yourself up, I'm going to say things in the casino are not breaking you away.
No, and I mean,
if
I'm
your
just
thought
saying,
is, hey, let me grab the kids before I pull the trigger.
Take them with me? Hell no.
And don't give me that whole because some of the Democrat media complex people who were trying to, I guess, turn this into a win for ICE. I don't need it, because that's how they operate. They're out there and they're like, well, he was trying to protect them from what he thought were, the bad guys. And I'm like, no. He wasn't.
Yes, that's why he had a blow-up vest.
He ran like a bitch. Sorry, Mom. And when he realized he was cornered because a dog had him cornered, he took him with him. If you're a human, you let the kids go before you pull the trigger.
Right.
Be like, okay, you kids, run. You don't take them with you.
Nope.
He got himself cornered by dog. I love that, by the way, because they hate the dogs. That's a thing for them. So it's like extra special.
Right.
I'm like, somebody getting all the time with the squeaky toy tonight. Good dog. Good dog. Cat wouldn't have done that for you. Good dog.
You want a milk bone? Here you go.
Here, have a box of them.
Yes.
Well, I guess, and as if this story didn't need to get weirder, not only did the Democrat media complex come out of that by lionizing Abu Baghdadi, whatever his name, screw it, dude. But they also are like, they actually kind of went after the dog a little bit. I'm like, really? You're going to go after the dog? The White House did a gag. Somebody had posted a Photoshop where they replaced, a dude was receiving the Medal of Honor. Mm-hmm. And they replaced him with the dog. It was hilarious. And the White House is like, this is funny. Somebody in the White House social media office said, this is funny. And they put it up on the White House Twitter feed. And it's funny. But the New York Times, among others, they're like, we're going to investigate that picture. We don't think that picture's real. That picture looks Photoshopped. At first, I thought they were kidding. I'm like, you're not actually fact-checking the Photoshop. Yes, New York Times. No flies on you guys. You got to. Where's the Pulitzer, right? Yes, it is not a dog in army dress blues getting the Medal of Honor from the press. You found him out. Good. I mean, that's how far down the hole of these guys.
Yeah, I know.
That's where we are. They're a year away from an election that could determine a very long-term future for both parties. Mm-hmm. And these are the games that they're playing. Like, hey, you know what we need to do to separate ourselves more from Trump and really get our message home to the voters? Let's back ISIS and condemn dogs. Okay. Good plan. See you guys in Noviembre. I didn't even, that to me, the dog thing, I'm like, really? You're gonna fact check the dog picture? That's your plan? Good job. You're gonna tell us that it's bad to kill ISIS leaders? Okay.
It was inhumane that we sent a dog after him.
I did feel a little bad for the dog got hurt.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's going to be okay.
Fine.
But I feel, of course, I feel bad for the dog getting. I always feel bad if a dog gets hurt.
You know what though? That dog is a soldier, and it knows it's a soldier.
That dog
knows it.
It's to me, it's no different than like the police dogs. I mean, they're real officers.
They know what they're doing,
and they know what they're doing. You know, that's why when you see the military dogs, and they have the vest on, it always says "Ask before petting." That is not like fluffy bunny that we're going to go run around in the meadow with and throw a tennis ball.
Yeah, no.
They'll do it and they'll enjoy it, but they're on duty, man. They're like, "Am I awake? Are we killing Al-Baghdadi today?" Because that's why I am here. But I felt bad for the dog.
I did too.
You ain't never gonna get the taste out of your mouth.
No, well, he said it tastes like chicken.
Well, we know it didn't taste like bacon. When they fact checked the dog picture, my thought at that moment was, like, if I was the president, if I were the president, sorry, that was grammatically incorrect. Were I the president, I would be pulling press passes. I'd be like, okay, New York Times, Washington Post, if you fact check the dog picture, if you ran the obit for Al-Baghdadi calling him an austere religious, you're out. Hand in your pass at the door. You're gone. You're obviously not. This isn't journalism.
No.
So what are we doing? Were I Trump, I'd be sending these guys to the curb right and left. Enough of this enemies of the state nonsense. Treat them like that.
Right.
I'd kick them all out. Take Acosta from CNN with you if you can pull him away from his mirror.
Again.
But you got to get him away from the mirror, though.
Right.
Because, Acosta's in there. I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty. Look at me. That dude, I'm like, man, what are you, Marilyn Monroe? Ain't nobody want to see you that much. I don't even know how he looks at himself that much, but he finds a way. They did that, and then they turn around and wonder why. They're just not getting. Media's out there. I don't understand why people don't trust us. I'm like, I can't imagine why.
Because you're investigating a Photoshop.
Yeah, because you went after a photo. But and then the other part of it and I know we don't want to spend all day on this guy. The other part of it that killed me, in a good way, I thought was funny, was the Democrat leadership, Pelosi and Schiff and the rest of them. They were butthurt because Trump didn't clue them. That was a talking point over the weekend too.
I know.
They didn't get briefed in advance.
He told the Russians, but he didn't tell us.
That's because the Russians needed to be aware that we don't want them to shoot down our aircraft. So we're like, hey, Russians, we're going to go kill. The Russians hate the ISIS guys too.
Right.
Like, we're going to go kill this guy. Don't shoot our guys down. Russians are like, okay, yeah, we got okay with that.
Right.
Because that's a friend of mine actually was in country in Bosnia in the 90s. He was at Camp Bondsteel. Mm. And that was the first time after the Cold War that American and Russian soldiers had actually served together.
Right.
He said at first he was like, "Holy crap! There's Russians like right over there, and they're on our side." But the Russians, the one thing that he learned dealing with these guys as an ally back then, he's like, the first thing that you'll notice is we have all these rules of engagement. The Russians do not. Russians are like, "Are you in my way? Very well, I will kill you." He said they would finish prisoner interrogations and be like, "Okay, we got to go release this guy somewhere." Russians be like, "Why don't we just kill him?" Because we're done with him. Yeah. So you got to let them know, hey, listen, these are our guys. Don't shoot our guys down. Are you killing ISIS? Okay, fine.
Right.
We will stand down. But Schiff and Pelosi were mad that the Russians found out and they didn't. I'm like, because the Russians aren't going to leak it, you morons.
Because you are a sieve.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are leakier than a North Korean submarine. We can't tell you people because, well, among other things, you're not in the chain of command. I know they like to think of themselves as the chain. One of their talking points these days is we're a co-equal branch of government. I've noticed when there's a Republican president, then Congress is a co-equal branch of government. When Obama was in the White House, Congress, well, you remember what he told them. Go sit in the back of the bus.
Right.
I'm like, no, Nancy, you're not in the chain of command, number one. Number two, you guys can't be trusted to keep stuff, especially OPSEC stuff, quiet because you tell people you're leaky as hell.
Yep.
So we can't tell you. And also, let's not forget, you've got Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib in the House. They're ISIS supporters. They find out, they call Bacardi or whatever his name is.
Al-Baghdadi.
Al-Baghdadi. Yeah. I would be, that's a legitimate concern. Yeah. I mean, we joke about it, but that is a legitimate concern. And they even bitched about the fact that he didn't give Obama a courtesy call. Why the hell are you going to call?
Why would you call? Why even?
Well, because he was president when it all started. I'm like, he's the president that started ISIS, basically. His foreign policy created these guys. So we could call and be like, hey, Barry, we're cleaning up your mess. That's not a courtesy call the president has to make.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm sure he did. But I was going to say, did Obama give, like, Clinton, Bill Clinton a courtesy call when he killed Obama?
Or George Bush?
Or any of it.
I actually don't know.
I mean,
I don't know. He may or may not have, but George W. Bush was not responsible for the formation of Al-Qaeda.
No.
Okay. Barack Obama was responsible for the formation of ISIS.
See, and that's why I said
Bill Clinton,
because, I mean,
well, you know,
Obama came along definitely during, not
not
Obama. Bin Laden came along definitely during the Clinton administration.
I think that's a fair point, but you started this problem. I'm going to call you. Hey, listen, we got a mop and bucket and cleaned up your mess today.
Yeah.
Better yet, hey Barry, get a mop and bucket. You go clean it up. He's over there and there. And over there, and up there.
His eyes were blue. One blue that way, and one blue that way.
The grade 8 today is, what was it? The top grade 8 things that Al-Baghdadi said before he died. And it's like, last thing to go through his mind was a ball bearing, about 40 weight.
Yep.
Yes, I am laughing at a dead guy. No, I am not sorry.
No,
I am not sorry. And I am not sorry the Democrats took it on the chin this weekend. I mean, hey, guys, good luck with that. That wasn't all they did this week.
No,
Lord have mercy, the coup has. When you, and Mom, I'm not even going to warn her because she knows. The last pod on the right, whether you're hearing it through laststopontheright.com or through America's Podcast Network, KLRNRadio. .com. You already know this program is dumpster fire.
Yeah.
My mom is aware of the fact that this is I don't have to worry. If you ever, when you you ate too much at dinner, you go and you take a big dump and you flush and there's that one nugget that just doesn't go. Okay. That guy is Eric Charavella. I'm going to say his name out loud. Meet the floater. We now know who We now know who, in all likelihood, the name of, we know the whistleblower, right? That they've been
the toilet humor to get to this.
Hey,
point.
It's amazing.
Wow.
There's two dudes with a podcast, and occasionally they make toilet jokes. What are the odds?
No doubt.
That's the nice thing about podcasting. There's no program director coming down the hall right now going, get them, put them in a commercial break. I got to talk to them. Commercial break. No. Eric Charavella or whatever his name is. So he's the whistleblower. This is a CIA operative. He was Biden's right-hand man back in the day during the Obama administration.
Right.
So this guy, he stays at the White House after the changeover. Like I said, the floating nugget that didn't go down when we flushed the toilet in November of 2016. So this guy stays in the White House, eventually gets bounced for disloyalty because they figured out that he was actively working to undermine the presidency.
Right.
Which, by the way, whether you like Trump or not, if you're in the White House actively working to subvert the presidency, you're a traitor. But they didn't fire him. They're like, you're out of the White House. He had a White House posting. He's gone.
Right.
Back to the CIA or whatever. His best friend is one of Adam Schiff's minions. So I'm like, oh, really? Isn't this interesting? So that's the latest. You said dumbest coup ever earlier.
Yes.
It really is.
I mean, it's terrible.
This is your guy. The latest nothing burger that they want us all to choke down is a dude that is an absolute Democrat Party operative. And remember, we made the joke here on the program. I made the joke months ago on the last pod that I guarantee you because remember the complaint that he supposedly filed was oddly worded.
Right.
And I'm like, who wrote this was it was a congressional staffer. Then we find out that Schiff and the whistleblower have had contact for a long time before it became public.
Right.
And I'm like, well, that's starting to round into form, isn't it? Now we find out the dude basically was a Schiff staffer from the get-go.
Right.
And before that, a Democrat plant in the Trump White House. I'm like, forget the coup. You guys... People go to prison over stuff like this.
Yes, that is called...
I will repeat again.
I've used the word treason.
Yeah, I will repeat again. Barack Obama's not going to see the inside of a prison cell.
Nope.
And Joe Biden isn't either. And I'll go ahead and break your hearts here on the last pod on the right, kids. Hillary Clinton isn't either.
No.
But somebody I would say some of this stuff is legally actionable. That's why, by the way, Schiff has been trying to keep all this stuff in the skiffs and under wraps and avoiding allowing due process and all that nonsense, because they know if this guy gets under the thumb of somebody, if he gets cross-examined, they're in big trouble.
Right.
I mean, you have actionable stuff here. Mm-hmm. So now we know it's Sharavella. That's one half of the coup that went ugly this week. That's half of it. It's not going well for him when it's like, well, wait, there's more. If you act now. They had their vote this week, another vote this week. And let me explain this to you, because Pelosi's like, we're having a vote to codify the rules of our impeachment inquiry. Absolutely nothing changed. Last week I told you, the week before I told you, the week before that I told you, they're not actually doing anything new. There isn't an impeachment.
Right. This
is just committees, Democrat congresspeople. They're not even hiding the fact that it's a one-sided affair now. Schiff is holding these hearings in these secure facilities, secure compartmented information facilities, so that he can control the information and the Republicans don't get a look at anything.
Right.
It's bogus anyway. But they had their vote this week to... The media went crazy, of course. They're like, oh, my God, it's getting serious now. I'm like, they had a vote to assure the American people, blah, blah, blah. You know what they voted on? Continuing to do the same stuff they're doing.
Right.
Nothing has changed. It's not real. It's not real at all. And they're out there like, oh, we had a big vote this weekend. I'm like, that's just because Pelosi was worried that she's losing control of the narrative again. How do we get this? We got to keep the media flag saying the word impeachment as often as possible, because they painted themselves into this corner. They've got to go through with it. I keep saying they've got to go through with it, but they don't want to because they can't get him.
Right. No.
And in fact, this is going to blow up in their faces if they get too much farther down the road, because it's becoming readily apparent to dispassionate observers. Anybody that's not so wrapped up in partisan that they've got their head up their own posterior knows what's going on now.
Right.
So, but they've painted themselves into this corner. She needs the media to keep saying impeachment as often as possible. So they come out, we're going to have another vote. This time it's a super official vote. We are voting on the votes to vote, so later on we can have a vote about voting to maybe vote on impeachment, maybe vote. It's just so that they can get people to say impeachment more. Nothing has changed at all. And she's out there yesterday. We're recording on a Friday. I think it was yesterday. It might have been Wednesday. She's like, we're doing this because the American people deserve the facts. We're all about transparency. I'm like, if you are, then why are your proceedings being held in skiffs? Why are the Republicans being deliberately boxed out of knowing what's going on? You won't let them have any kind of cross-examination or subpoena powers. That's not only is that not due process, that's not even, I mean, this isn't legit from any perspective. Mm-mm. And if they ever get around to actually pulling the trigger on impeachment, this all blows up in their face, because then they can't stop the Republicans from going, I got some questions. I like some answers to.
Right. Well, I mean, when she comes out and says that, she's like, oh, this is so the Americans can have it. Well, give it to me.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
stop.
tired of it.
This is not much better than those old Moscow show trials.
Yeah, I mean, if you think you got him, get him.
And
Go for it.
And
Do
it's
it.
embarrassing. It's embarrassing because it's making us look like a banana republic with this nonsense.
That's true.
I mean, it really, I'm like, come on, this is the United freaking States of America. And thanks to the Democrat media complex, we are acting like some Bush League version of the old communist bloc. It's like, we have proof. We will not share with you, but we have proof. Off to the gulag with you. And they never tell you why. It's bogus from beginning to end. It's becoming readily apparent. So they do all this nonsense this week. And I'm like, oh, God. You know what? You guys should have left off after you endorsed ISIS.
Yeah, you probably should have.
Another bad week. Every single week with the Democrats should come with its own soundtrack, the old sound trombone.
You suppose Boris Johnson's going, man, these guys make me look good.
I know, right?
Thank you.
He's like, this is awesome. No matter how bad we screw up. Dude, Venezuela is looking at us now going, well, hey, listen, we're morons, but at least we're not the U.S. Democrats.
Right.
At least I'm not Nancy Pelosi. If that word is being spoken by tin pot dictators in third world countries, and it is, then you are, to borrow a phrase from Elizabeth Warren, miles off the reservation, baby.
Making us look good.
No, it's making us look bad. That's
I mean, I like Boris.
I'm just like, it's embarrassing, though. I'm like, all right, enough with this. You don't have him. You're not going to get him. As Mikey, as you said a minute ago, if you were going to get him, they would have gotten.
He would be. Yeah.
He would have gotten.
This would have gone to the Senate a long time ago.
That's another part of it. Of course, is that no matter what stunts they pull, this is going to get blown up in the Senate.
It's going to stop there.
And it's not going to matter anyway because Trump's going to get reelected next fall. Yeah, I just said that.
No, you said that like
repeatedly
a year ago.
I'm just
I know.
Unless the way they're going right now, he's going to beat them. It's going to make Mondale look like he gave Reagan a good fight. I mean, this is going to be Mike Tyson. The Democrats versus Trump in 2020 is going to be Tyson versus Spinks. They're going to make 84 look like Tyson versus Buster Douglas. I mean, it's bad. You remember the night the Tyson Spinks fight?
Oh yeah.
Spinks comes out, dances around for about 90 seconds, and then Iron Mike dropped the house on his head, and it's like, well, that's over with. I mean, that's what 2020 is going to be like.
God, we spent $80 for pay-per-view for that.
Well, at least, at least Iron Mike got a workout.
Yeah.
Not really. It's going to be a no sweat win because this is the kind of crap they're going to come to the American people with. And as I said last week, people are sick of it. They're not going to get less sick of it by next fall.
No.
And they have to keep this up for a year while trying to prop up, in all likelihood, Elizabeth Warren.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck. She's as unlikable at this point as Hillary Clinton is. One of the media outlets, I don't remember which one, actually I think it might have been Bloomberg. That might be wrong. You could Google it if you wanted to. I'm not going to right now.
Right.
Because we in the middle of the last pod on the right here at laststopontheright.com. And, of course, America's Podcast Network, KLRNRadio.com. So we don't have time. I had time to do that, but not time to Google it. Exactly. Somebody came out and said, if Elizabeth Warren is the nominee, we may have problems.
Right.
Because she is not likable. And not likable, it does translate to non-electable. Put that out there. She had a big week, though. Oh, Lizzie.
Yeah.
She did. She came out with her Medicare for All plan. $52 trillion. Trillion with a T.
Yep.
52. We are going to bankrupt basically the entire Western Hemisphere. Because, baby, if the United States economy goes down, we're taking everybody with us.
Yep.
We're taking the Chinese with us. Be like, okay, yeah, the Chinese are ostensibly at least our economic enemies. Their entire economy is resting on making cheap crap that we buy and use. So if we go down, everybody's coming with us. You want to talk about a depression? 1929 will look like, you got shorted in your paycheck a little bit.
Yeah.
So she's talking $52 trillion over a decade, okay? That's not like $52 trillion over the next century or one of these things where they use a big number and it's actually spread out over long enough. It's not. We're talking And remember, it's the federal government, which is like a wedding. So it never gets smaller or less expensive.
No, it
so
doesn't.
if it's $52 trillion now, it's $100 trillion by the time, not that she's going to get in the White House, that she actually tried to implement this nonsense.
Right.
I'm over here still wondering, hey, what happened to Obamacare? I thought that fixed all these problems.
Yeah.
Remember, have you noticed that? They never talk about Obamacare anymore. They never do. They were like, oh, we're going to have Medicare for all. I'm like, I thought Obamacare was the solution we needed. You said when you voted for Obamacare that it was the plan that would save health care for Americans. Now we got to have a $52 trillion government takeover of health care? You're going to bankrupt the entire world to make us all go stand in line at the doctor's office like it's the freaking DMV?
Right. Oh, man, they could just print more money. It'll be all right.
I'm telling you, dude, it's, what did I say? It was 2 weeks ago? The AOC idea for solving the problem. Because I guarantee you Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is this stupid. It's like, why don't we just print a $50 trillion bill? And, we just hand it over and be like, okay, now we're even.
Don't we have a check we can write there?
Yeah, go ahead and ask Zimbabwe how that worked out. Because they were printing like $1 trillion notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, we want to live in Zimbabwe. Yay. It's terrific. You've got natural resources, clear skies, it's beautiful, everybody's starving to death. Little things. And it's nice. She wants to spend $52 trillion on government taking over American health care. And they asked her Wednesday or Thursday of this week. She was at one of these these forums where they just fawn over her. Oh my God, Elizabeth Warren. Right. Oh, you're such a visionary. You're going to be my president. Bibbidi. And they asked her, how are you going to impose and collect this? She talks about a wealth tax. That's how it's going to get covered. By the way, we now know because both sides have had think tanks do the numbers. There is no way that her supposed wealth tax will cover $52 trillion. Right. It won't really get above about 10% of that.
Right.
So it's going to have to come from somewhere. But that's a story for another day, according to Elizabeth. She doesn't want to talk specifics yet.
Of course not.
But they asked her, like, well, how are you going to collect your wealth tax? How are you going to guarantee these guys don't just go? Because what do rich guys do when you go, hey, we're going to boost your tax rate a little bit? They go put their money in the Cayman Islands.
Right.
So they asked her, how are you going to enforce this? And she actually said, and I am not making this up, this is a direct quote from Senator Elizabeth Warren, how will you enforce your 42% national sales tax that she and Bernie are talking about? That's a good plan. And your wealth tax. And she actually said, quote, super duper enforcement, unquote. Oh, super duper enforcement. Oh, in that case, I guess we're all good.
Not just super enforcement.
I mean, that's like
that's
who's
super duper.
Who's going to be the director of that operation? Because it bloody well better be Dean Wormer. If you try to get away with it, you're not just going to be in trouble. You're going to be on double secret probation. The time has come for someone to put their foot down, and that foot is me. It's insane.
I know.
Imagine saying that with a straight face and thinking you could get away with it. But more importantly, imagine saying that with a straight face and having a room full of liberals actually applaud you for that, like you're a visionary of some kind.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just stunning. Let me also point out what happens to the economy when you try that. So you're going to impoverish all the rich guys. Okay. I guess that's something that you feel like, because they always do that now. There shouldn't be billionaires. Like, because they work off the jealousy. Class envy is an old thing with the libs.
Right.
So they do that and they say, we're going to basically punish you for being successful. Okay, fine. So you go with that, right? And you're gonna knock these guys down. You're gonna take a bunch of their money away. Also, you're gonna impose a 42% national sales tax. 42%. And you're gonna hit the corporations with a big number. Where do you think they're gonna get that money? You go to the guys that make the staples. Okay, ConAgra. Or Cargill. Forget about like the Walmart, because they always yell at Walmart. I'm talking about the guys who actually make the food that ends up on the shelves at Walmart.
Right.
Okay? You're going to go to them, and you're going to say it's going to cost X more, a lot more. We are literally going to double the price, and we're going to come after you on the other end with taxes. They got to make that money up somewhere, or they go out of business. So they have a choice. Either the people who get us our food can't afford to get us our food anymore, or they have to raise prices to cover it.
Right.
Meanwhile, the guys the Walmarts and the Krogers and the Albertsons or whomever's, that tax is coming out of their pockets too. So they got to raise their prices, or the Cargills and the ConAgras and the Kraft Foods won't have any shelves to put their food on.
Right. So
they raise their prices. So before you get to the store, you can go buy yourself a loaf of bread. Okay? It used to be that loaf of bread would cost you, I don't know, you're going to buy, let's say you buy the cheap stuff, it's going to cost you $1.90.
Right.
Something like $2. Now it costs $4. And that's before you get to the store, because it's already been hit twice. And it's not like they're screwing the customers to make up the difference and cover themselves. It's because they don't have a choice.
Right.
Meanwhile, your own paycheck just got popped. The company you work for just got popped. So you're getting hit all over a 42% national sales tax plus a 2% wealth tax. And let me explain to you how much fun that's going to be. When the guys that are the managers at the Krogers have suddenly been identified as wealthy so that they can get hit with that tax too, it's everybody, baby.
Right.
So you're getting hit. An average consumer is not just getting hit once with these taxes. You're not just paying 42% extra on that loaf of bread. The loaf of bread did not just go from $2 to $2.84. Okay, the loaf of bread went from $2 to $2.84 when it was getting packaged at the mill. The loaf of bread went from $2.84 to $4.15 when it was getting trucked to the Kroger. It got hit. You're paying that tax about 4 different ways before you ever eat the sandwich.
Right, and then you get to pay 42% on it when you check out at the grocery store.
Yeah. So you've been hit. I mean, when they come up with taxes like this, you think it's just a consumption tax. I don't have a problem with consumption taxes as long as income taxes go bye-bye.
Yes.
I would pay a 20% national sales tax in place of.
Oh, me too.
Income taxes. That would make sense. They want to do double that on top of your income taxes, which, by the way, will go up anyway.
Right.
So Liz Warren is basically saying she is going to just pull your wallet and nuke your bank account. But it's okay because, now you'll have Medicare. So you're going to go bankrupt. She's going to bankrupt the entire world so that we can get health care that's about as good as you'd expect from the guys that brought you the way they treat the veterans at the VA hospital.
Exactly.
I mean, it's going to be like that. Meanwhile, the doctors... Why the hell am I going to spend a $500,000 to $1 million and 7 years of my life getting an MD so I can go into private practice?
Right.
And work for the guys that run the VA? There's not going to be any reason to do it. You're going to end up with doctors who his first name's doctor.
Right. Yep.
I mean, it's
I play one on TV.
I mean, really, you'd be like, hey, look, it's George Clooney. I feel better already. Yeah, you better, because homeboy don't know nothing about medicine. Nope. It'll be that bad. Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All plan will not only assure you nothing healthcare-wise, it will also make sure that you can't afford whatever is out there. Also, prescription medicines. They're going to hit them because they're going to hit the drug companies with that tax. That's going to go. It's going to be added on to the price of the medicine you're paying for now.
Right.
So they hit it there, then it gets packaged, it gets shipped. You got to go to the doctor, you got to go to the pharmacist to pick it up. That tax gets put on again and again and again. Then you get it home. At which point, why bother taking the medicine? Because, okay, great. Your Lipitor prescription came in. You don't have a cholesterol problem, but you died of starvation.
Right, because you were paying for it.
I've got the healthiest circulatory system of anybody in a box under the interstate. Congratulations. Thank you, Elizabeth Warren. That's really where they're headed. Milk will cost $500 a gallon, but at least we got that health care. Like, you got to have that conversation with the doctor. Hey, Doc, you got anything for starvation? Doc doesn't care because he's got a bad case of the POA hells, too.
Yeah, he does.
He's out there going, oh, screw it. Anyway, that was her big week. They've got another debate coming up. I can't remember if it's next week or the week after. It's going to be on MSNBC. Like, I needed a reason not to watch it already.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm not. Well, and the moderators are Maddow and Mitchell.
Oh, yeah. I saw this one. No,
I'm like, that would be the equivalent of having the Republican, and what you're hearing right now is one of the last pot on the right puppies. She's got a jingle bell collar.
Doing a little scratching.
That's Poppy Puppy. I have no problem with having my dogs in the background of the last pod on the right.
No, they sleep very well during it.
They like it, but
no, they sleep very well.
Oh yeah, it would be the equivalent. Maddow and Mitchell on MSNBC moderating a Democrat debate would be like if you had Limbaugh and Hannity doing a GOP debate.
Yeah, you're right.
Except that Limbaugh and Hannity might actually ask a salient question that wasn't written for them by Donna Brazile. So there's that.
There is that.
All right, we have dispensed with all that crap. I didn't want to spend all day on that, but some of that stuff, man. All right, you mentioned it beforehand, and I wanted to get to it, just because. You mentioned Katie Hill. I despise this woman. Do you know why I despise this woman?
Why, Ben?
Do you know why I despise this woman, Michael? Why, Ben? Because she has made thruple a word that we use in news conversation now. I didn't want to care. And we talked about it last week briefly. We touched on it for like a second. I was like, I don't want to get into it with this. It's gross. It's a gross story. I'm not one of these like.
You said we touched on it.
No,
we didn't.
Wasn't
us.
Hell no.
It wasn't us.
Hell no. I wanted nothing to do with the story. I didn't want to get. I'm one of these conservatives. I'm like, I'm more libertarian. I don't care what you do with your free time as long as it doesn't end up on my porch.
Right.
I don't give a crap. But it's worth noting, she got forced out by Pelosi because she violated ethics rules that they got serious about during the Me Too witch hunts.
Right.
So you did it to yourself, honey.
That's very true.
Kids, and it makes me worry about the level of intellect in Congress. I mean, we know it's gone downhill because freaking AOC is up there, and she's dumber than a box of hair. But now we've got this girl. You're taking pictures of yourself naked, brushing a staffer's hair and hitting a bong in the bathroom. And posting them online.
Are you in college or something?
I mean,
damn, girl.
It is impossible for me to feel bad for you because you did this to yourself.
Right.
And in fact, I'm irritated because I didn't want to talk about it because it's gross. It's a gross story. I don't care what she does with her free time. I don't care who she does with her free time.
Who she does.
I didn't want to see the pictures, and you couldn't get away from them.
Right.
They blurred them out, thank God, but the media did the thing where they got mad at the guy, Red State, which is one of the Salem communications properties. Mm-hmm. They did the pictures. They blurred out the ookie parts. But unfortunately, Katie Hill, you got to blur out all the parts or it's just ookie. So they had her out there, and they did and I'm like, oh, God, because now I've seen it. And it's like pouring bleach in my eyes. Like, no, I don't want to see this. I'm not sympathetic, and no, she is not a victim of sexism. If a Republican dude had been photographed combing a staffer's hair while sitting naked on a couch, they would have tarred, feathered that guy, and thrown him in the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. But these are rules that they wanted. Keep your hands off the staff during the Me Too witch hunts when they slandered Brett Kavanaugh, who didn't do anything that they said.
Right.
When they went after Clarence Thomas, who didn't do anything that they said. And, of course, that was racism, too. But they said, we're not going to allow this anymore. Katie Hill gets popped doing exactly what they said they weren't going to allow anymore. All of a sudden, it's a right-wing conspiracy. Lady, trust me when I tell you, nobody on the right wing wanted anything to do with this. We're all pretty much just grossed out. And she's not even hot. Why couldn't it be Tulsi Gabbard getting caught doing this?
Oh, man.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
God, come on.
All right, I know. I shouldn't have said that. I'm not even a little bit sorry. Don't go away mad, Katie Hill. Just go away. All right, we've got 5 minutes left.
Okay.
I got to remind everybody of a couple of things. Get some program notes for you. Not just from the last pod on the right, which, by the way, is now going to be airing on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. We've got some cool stuff to let you know about.
Nice.
Behind that, coming up at 9, we've got a pod divided on America's Podcast Network, KLRNRadio.com. They pod divided. I don't know how they pull this off. They've got a Longhorn and an Aggie in the same room doing a podcast.
Huh.
You know what? I'll give credit to the people in Texas, though. Because if you put a Longhorn and an Aggie in the same room, they can do a podcast. You put a Gator and a Bulldog in the same room, ain't going to be no podcast.
Hell
There's going to be a lot of screaming. You could get stuff getting broken. You know,
hell no.
Oh, hails to the no. So, and then after that, we've got the Rick and Jen show.
Oh, cool.
Coming up on KLRN.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. So after this dumpster fire is over, they're going to come out with an extinguisher and put some good stuff on. So you got that coming up for you. Real quick, before we get out of here, because we're running out of time, I had some other stuff that we're not going to get to all of it. California stand fires.
Yes.
They're trying to blame that on global warming now. They blame everything on damn global warming.
Man, I'll tell you exactly who it is. PG&E.
Well, it's not just PG&E though. It's the same guy. It's the global warmists.
Well,
they imposed all these rules. You can't cut down trees.
Right.
They made it so you can't manage the forests, and then, basically you got all these dead trees. That's kindling, man.
Or you build your $1 million house on the side of a hill that's covered in grass where the wind frequently blows 80 miles an hour. Well, guess what?
Hey,
somebody drops a cigarette and poof.
If they're out there like, it's, oh, man, the global warming caused this. I'm like, no, global warming did not cause this. Global warming has nothing to do with this. This is bad forest management.
California was burning
the
long
freaking
before
Indians who lived here before the white devil slave master showed up and wrecked the joint. Elizabeth Warren's relatives. The white devil slave master, not the Indians.
Right. Oh, yes.
They knew. You got to clear out the underbrush from time to time.
When it burns, get out of the way.
Yeah.
Just let it burn.
So they're trying to do that. I just thought that was funny, and I'm like, Plus, it's California, Stan. I'm not pro-natural disaster, and I don't like seeing people's homes get burned up, but there's a little tiny part of me that's like, well, at least it's California.
Exactly.
But there's a downside to that, though, because if the whole state of California goes up, then they're going to move east. We don't want you. Okay?
No.
I hope that you put out these fires, if for no other reason than we do not want you living in our country.
Should we come help?
In fact, I will personally come out and help if it will keep you there.
Bring a bottle of water. I love watching them though, like seeing on the news, and you got these people with these huge houses all on the side of the hill, and they're out there with their garden.
Oh, I know. It's like they're in Malibu with the rest of the Hollywood douchebags, and they're out there with their garden hose. I'm like, you moron.
You moron. It's not your watering day.
See,
you'll have to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah. We said that. You can't put out fires today. Sorry about that. All right, we're out of time. Real quick before we go, Michelle Obama says that white people are afraid of black people, and that's what caused white flight in the inner cities. And I'm like, woman.
Okay.
Ain't no. She had it was a story this week because she said that in one of these symposia. I'm like, woman, ain't nobody afraid of you or your narrow-ass husband. And by the way, it is very difficult for me to take your protestations of racist housing seriously when you just bought a $15 million palace on Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, you got a point there.
So I'll tell you what, honey, how about you have you a big old glass of shut the hell up and leave us alone. All right, we're out of time, my friends. The last pod on the right has hit the wall. Whether you listen to us through laststopontheright.com, we encourage you, of course, to check out our social media outlets. We have a Facebook group, Last Stop on the Right Does. Also, our Twitter feed, @LastStopOTR. Stay tuned after this because we've got Pod Divided and the Rick and Jen Show coming up on KLRN Radio, America's podcast network. Until then and next week, my friends, I'm Ben Crystal.
I'm Mike Abel.
And this has been the Last Pod on the Right. Y'all keep it in the short grass. We out!